Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
All right, so you, from what I can understand, discovered this show on HBO Max, and within a matter of like a weekend, we're like, this show's great. Sweet, they have a Christmas episode. Let's talk about it.
100%. So I discovered this show on Twitter, actually. Twitter can be a hellscape, but also you can discover a lot of things. It can be a lot of fun if you kind of trim your feed in the specific way. I saw a claymation creature that actually like spooked the hell out of me when I first saw it from the Halloween episode, a silly Halloween special, and I was like, what is this all about? It took me back to some of the strange animation tricks they would pull for episodes of Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yes.
So, like, when I saw that, I was like, I'm in. I want to see what this show's all about. I watched it. Let me just preface, guys, this is not Courage the Cowardly Dog. What I'm saying is, like, this is a very vulgar, absurdist, Adult Swim.
It reminded me of Courage the Cowardly Dog blended with, like, early Ren and Stimpy, where it's just, like, disgusting and disturbing enough.
I can see that.
But, like, because it did a lot of the same tricks where it would cut to these really detailed, grotesque close-ups and then, like, bounce back to the more, like, playful, cheap animation, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
But then, like, CGI or claymation or whatnot character. It was a very interesting style, for sure.
And, like, somebody did... I actually... So, as Matt's not downplaying this, I became obsessed with this 11-minute... 9-episode series, like
the length of
almost
a regular movie, is this whole series.
Almost instantly. I mean, the next morning after I'd seen that clip, I was like, I'm gonna check this out. It's on HBO Max, and I did. I binged the entire thing, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And there's a couple people on YouTube who have done like quick, like 30-minute. I don't want to call them documentaries or a feature on discussing why this show works. And one of them, they do get into the animation. And it's like every single character is kind of a little bit animated in a different way. There's so many different styles of animation being thrown in here. My favorite part of this show is that Smiling Friends is you have so many absurd fucking things going on in the episode, but your two main characters are very grounded and very normal. And
who are my main characters in this? Is this Charlie and Pimp? Okay.
Charlie and Pim are the two main characters, and I do highly recommend watching the entire series. I'm sure this is the only one you watched, but you need to watch all of it. Charlie and Pim are your main characters, and they work for a company called Smiling Friends, and their job is to make people smile. Literally the first episode, they're like, so we received a call, and they go to this house, and it's this older woman, and she's like, I really want you to just try to make my son smile, try to make him have a good day. And they walk into the room, and it's a very heavy set, like, guy that has definitely let himself go, holding a revolver to his head. And he's like, I'm going to do it. Like, I just have no reason. And they're like, listen, if we can get you to smile by the end of the day, you have to, like, not kill yourself. And he's like, that's fine. But if you don't get me to smile by the end of the day, I'm going to not only kill myself, I'm going to kill myself in front of you and ruin your days as well. It's like, yes, that's fucking out there. But at the same time, it's so, like, he says it in such a dry way that I'm like, what the fuck? But then they go on these, like, mini adventures and they're genuinely trying to get this guy to smile, and he does, and every episode is like kind of self-contained like that, but that's their job, is to get people to smile.
So let me ask you a question. As
go
someone who
for it.
only watched this episode.
Yes.
So Charlie.
In
this episode, he's kind of depicted as a bit of a grump, but like I don't think that that's his normal tone. I feel like they're just doing that for the sake of
very
the story.
Much. He is more grumpy in this episode. He's definitely the dry humor guy. Like that and that's just how his tone is. You can tell that Pim has a passion for his job. Like he wants to make people smile.
My first chuckle is when he just goes, "A Christmas adventure."
Exactly. Pim is a little Australian, like smiley face looking guy. You can tell that he loves his job. He does it for passion. Whereas Charlie works for money. Like this is a job to him. He loves Pim and Pim loves Charlie, but that's just how they are. Now,
and I'm kind of, I have to say, I know we're a Christmas podcast. I'm on Charlie's side in the beginning of this. Working Christmas Eve fucking sucks. Don't want to be working, and then you have to go cut down a goddamn tree that'll be up for less than 24 hours. Like, yeah, I'd be pretty fucking miserable too at that point.
So their boss is probably the most horrifying character in the entire series.
Oh, yeah. Did not enjoy him popping up on screen.
That's just how he is. In the first episode, they go into his office and he is breastfeeding a child. So it is, yes, exactly. And every time you see him, he's the one that you're like, oh God, I hate this. I hate that this is on screen. And then you have, I can't remember the red guy's name, or the little little green guy, but they
didn't really address them.
They pop up every once in a while in every episode as well. So this episode of Smiling Friends, they're, as Matt said, they're working on Christmas Eve, and Pim is basically is us. Like, he's like, this is before you find out it's Christmas Eve. So Pim is like us. He's like, come on, Charlie, help me decorate the office. Let's get into the Christmas spirit.
And then Charlie's like, it's Christmas Eve and we have 5 minutes left of our shift.
He's like, I just don't really see the point. It's Christmas Eve.
Which at that point, I agree. Like, anybody who's putting up decorations on Christmas Eve, like, what are you even achieving at this point?
But I see Pim as like, he's the glass half full guy. He's like, if we're going to work on Christmas Eve, it's going to be fucking Christmassy up in here. Like, let's fucking do it. So Charlie, like you said, is like, dude, what the fuck's the point? We get off in 5 minutes, whatever. Boss comes in, is like, all right, I have one last job for you guys. I need you to get me a Christmas tree.
For the office.
So we can festive it up in here. And of course, Charlie gets really pissed off, and they go off to cut down a Christmas tree.
And while Charlie is cutting down a tree, the tree falls on him. And at this point, my jaw quite literally drops.
So the name of this episode is called Charlie Dies and Doesn't Come Back. So the thing is Charlie and Pim are kind of going at it. And this is the first time in the entire series where they're like having a genuine argument. And I just love the dialogue between the two. It's just such mundane sarcasm that makes me chuckle when it's in any situation. But you put this shit in a cartoon and I just start fucking dying.
So let me ask you a question. They keep bringing up Desmond. Is that a previous episode, or is that just them bringing up some wild ass shit just to show how long they've been friends with each other and working together?
So Desmond is the first one. Like, that's the guy that had the gun to his head. So like that's early on. Like that's the first episode. So that's what they're talking about, is that Desmond situation.
Because that's what they're mostly arguing about at a certain point, is that it's like, it's kind of like the lovers quarrel where you bring up like something from months ago and it's like, oh, okay, so you've just been holding that in your back pocket this whole time? Because I'm remembering that differently.
I think what makes me chuckle is it's these two like goofy looking cartoon characters that are just
they're absurd. They're like humanoid, you know, like, it's like they don't look like humans, but I don't think they're supposed to be like a different type of creature or animal. I just think they're supposed to be horrific looking.
He's like Charlie's like, it's funny that you bring that up, because actually, Pim, you were the one that was in a bad mood back on that day. You didn't even want to help Desmond. I was trying to bring you up to help Desmond.
Do you like to laugh, geek out on music, and learn all about that band or artist who had that one song back in the day but then seemed to fall off the face of the earth? If so, you need to subscribe to One Hit Thunder. Together with an array of interesting and hilarious guests, we do a weekly dive into one-hit wonders like Eiffel 65's Blue, Krayshawn's Gucci Gucci, EMF's Unbelievable, Delamitri's Roll to Me, Los Del Rio's Macarena, Musical Youth's Pass the Dutchie, and even Patrick Swayze's She's Like the Wind. So are you subscribed to One Hit Thunder or what? As Desiree would say, you gotta be. And as K7 would encourage, you gotta come, baby, come and join in on the fun of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come, come. Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come.
Charlie gets crushed, ends up in hell, and my note is, I love the hell toilet and Jeremy. And Jeremy is this like this stick figure thing that's supposed to be torturing Charlie in hell. And it's so funny every time that he pops up for me. I don't know why he makes me laugh so hard.
So like this hell demon basically like it's a jump scare. And that's what I love is there are random jump scares and throughout this entire series. And then they cut to him and he's like, I'm here to torture you. You have... Is it hellbed? This is
that's your hellbed.
Hellbed.
That's your
and it's
hell
a bed,
toilet.
It's a bed made of like human limbs and shit.
Dude,
and that's
the hell
your
toilet's
hell
just an open
toilet.
It's just a gaping open mouth.
And then what happens is the wall it's wallpaper. It was fake flames. It falls, and Charlie's like, oh yeah, and he says, "This is it Jeremy?" That's what you said.
Jeremy,
like,
your torturer.
Jeremy, your torturer. He will do this every 5 minutes, and he goes. And Charlie just goes, dude, I swear to God, you do that again, I'm gonna punch you. And I thought that was gonna be the end of it with Jeremy, but when he comes,
and then
back
about
later,
5 minutes after that point, Jeremy pops up again, and he just socks him right in the gut, and Jeremy drops.
And Charlie goes, dude, I'm sorry. I told you that if you did that again, I was going to punch you.
I have to tell you the funniest line in the whole episode.
Yeah,
though.
go for it.
So he's walking around hell, and then he sees his grandmother. He goes, Grandma, what are you doing down here?
Oh,
and she goes,
I know exactly where you're going.
She said, well, I cursed once and said, damn, back in 1958 after seeing your grandfather get shot in the head by that burglar.
Charlie's like, well, did you write it down? Did you write down?
No,
Charlie's
I didn't write the follow-up. He's just like, that seems pretty unfair.
Yeah, he's like, well, that doesn't seem to like equate to your lifetime in hell. I fucking love this show. So the whole point is Charlie is like, why hell is the way it is. It's frozen over because Satan is just not happy. He's sad. He's depressed. So Charlie's like, well, I can use that. That's my job. Let me go make him smile. And so he first runs into his grandmother. After they say that line, his grandmother offers him a lollipop. Yeah. And he's like, it's like covered in hair and stuff. And one of the moments that makes me laugh is like the absurdity of what happens with that lollipop. I don't know if you remember how it's eaten, but she's like, okay, more for me.
Yeah.
And like, just starts ramming it down her throat. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
It's so weird. It's so uncomfortable. But then the animation, he gets to Satan eventually. Because it's like
you're skipping over Christmas time and HE-double-L.
I was gonna say we get a song. It's pretty funny.
Get a fantastic song.
But it's like a montage.
It is.
Stuff.
He's walking through hell and he's seeing all of these tortured souls, and the soul's like, "You're never gonna escape. You'll never get out of here." Sorry, I couldn't think of anything else. Charlie's like, "Nah, man, it's no big deal. I get it."
So that was almost a Family Guy joke to me. There's a couple ones that I would toss up to Family Guy joke. I want to get to Satan because that is probably the joke that worked the least for me at a certain point, which is the very long Uber delivery bit where I'm just like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Like it's going on too long. Like it's like at least a minute of this 11-minute episode is Satan talking to his Uber delivery. Like Uber Eats delivery, and I'm just like, all right, come on, like let's get.
So basically, Satan is doing the same thing Charlie was doing.
Yeah, he's sitting at his computer playing video games.
Yep, sitting at his computer playing video games. He gets the Uber Eats, and it's more of this absurd situation with mundane dialogue of him just interacting with this Uber Eats driver. I do, however, really like the moment when the Uber Eats driver leaves and he's going through like, I hope they didn't forget the straw. Oh, they forgot the straw. Just great. That's just what I needed. They just needed them to
this is just how I want things to go.
This is just how I want things to go. This is great.
Because I've had those days. So there are, people will be shocked to know that there are times where Matt Kelly like literally has like a screaming fit. But more often than not, it's that. Yeah. It's me like driving and someone cuts me off and I'm just like, no, that's exactly how a human being's supposed to drive. That's totally fine. I just get so like Chandler Bing level sarcastic in my car about shit like that, where it's just like, no, this is exactly how I planned my whole life to play out. You're nailing it. This is exactly what I dreamed of.
So basically, Charlie makes the wager that if he can make Satan smile, he'll release him back to Earth.
Yep.
And Charlie again, Pim is the one that's passionate about his job, is going to cheer you up with jokes, where Charlie's going to tell you how it is. And I feel like if I was a smiling friend, I would be more of a Charlie, where I'd just be like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're just avoiding your problems. And so much so that, like, Satan's like, are you really calling me out for this? You're literally making my day worse. And pulls out a vape and takes a hit. and Charlie just goes, see, that's exactly it. That's the perfect example. You're avoiding your problems by taking a hit of that vape. You're just avoiding everything that I'm saying. And it just, dude, you pissed me the frick off. I'm going to torture you forever. And so they strap Charlie down to a torture bed. And I don't know if you saw Jeremy pop up again.
Yeah.
Jeremy basically pops up again, goes like, and then like punches Charlie in the face.
Punches him in the face. He starts getting whipped. A bunch of demons are like crawling all over him. And then Charlie is like, wait, you're smiling.
Yeah, because he's like, nothing will make me happier than torturing you forever. Ha 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 ha. And then, Charlie goes, wait, you're smiling. And
you like watching people get tortured. Like, that's what you should be doing.
Exactly.
And
so I'm
he's
get
like,
to go
so
home,
now you got to
he's
let
like,
me go home. And Satan says,
no.
like, fuck that shit, essentially.
Yeah. He says, no, dude, you pissed me the frick off. I'm going to torture you forever.
But then, in his last credited appearance of all time, Gilbert Gottfried shows up as God and saves Charlie and says that this was all a test. And that he hopes that he takes these lessons and becomes a better person. Yeah. And then Charlie's back.
Yeah. And
in the middle of his funeral.
He returns Charlie in the middle of his funeral, right after the boss was giving what can only be described as Def Jam poetry at the funeral. As he's in basically an S&M gimp suit, one that's the most appropriate for a funeral you could find.
Yeah, I mean, it was black.
Yeah. It was black. And I think that's about it. I really love this show. I had fun with this. I will watch the other 8 episodes. This is the first time in a while I watched an Adult Swim show that wasn't, well, even Rick and Morty at this point, I'm kind of over it. I think I'm over Rick and Morty's fan base than I am. They really have ruined what made that show work at this point. So this was the first Adult Swim show that I've watched in a while that I'm like, that was genius. I want to watch all of this. I want to see more. It reminded me of the parts of Aqua Teen that worked. It reminded me of it reminded me of the heyday of Adult Swim. Like we could talk for hours. We could talk for legitimate hours just about how great the first 3 years of Adult Swim was. But so fucking good. Well, Dylan, thanks for always making me smile, buddy. Dude, that's what I'm here for, bud. Merry Christmas. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holiday. Have a great holiday. Have a merry happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.